Out of nowhere, as two fat monster girls are gathering weed from the forest, a plane crashes, heading straight to the forest. The two girls wonder if they are still high or something since they have never seen a metal bird before. Later, a white-haired boy with purple and red eyes wakes up. He gets surprised seeing the fat elf, but as he tries to get up, he has a massive headache, and the elf tells him that he shouldn't move so suddenly since he is badly hurt. Just then, he remembers that he was on a plane and it had a malfunction, but he lost consciousness after that. He grabs the elf by her shoulder, asking about the other 6 of his friends if they were saved as well. The elf smiles at him, saying that everything is all right as she looks at the beds beside him, saying they brought all of them there. He is very happy upon hearing this, and the thick elf tells him that he is really kind. But this moron starts talking nonsense to her, saying that it's the duty of a public official to be concerned for its citizen, which totally went over her head.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
He introduces himself as Mikagami, while the elf reveals her name as Lyrule. He thanks her on behalf of everyone for saving their life, but she simply tells him it's okay since it's customary among the mountain people to help one another. She brings him food made from her milk, goat's milk, calling it milk stew. But as she feeds him, he chokes on it, realizing he is still weak and can't eat any food yet. Lyrule gets concerned for him, so she devours the stew instead of his cock, chews it, and then feeds it to Mikagami using her mouth. At first he gets disgusted, but he ends up enjoying it, and now he has the energy to even eat her. But out of nowhere, the raccoon girl comes to the room, disturbing their eating process, but Mikagami gets distracted by her ears and tail, wondering if this is the native attire of that place. The woman introduces herself as Winona, a resident of that village just like Lyrule. Mikagami bows his head, thanking both of them, saying that they should let him thank them properly later, when he is back in his own country. She tells him he sounds really mature even though he is the same age as her son. Hearing this, he tells her she looks very young to have a child. Winona blushes like an idiot while wagging her tail and ears. Seeing this, he wonders if her tail is real, so she lets him touch it, and he realizes that it's actually real. Judging by his confused reaction, she asks him if he has never seen a bioma before. Lyrule also mentions that they were wearing weird clothes earlier. Could it be that they are from a different country? He tells them that they are from Japan. They get confused, saying that they have never heard of such a place. Mikagami gets really surprised and tells them that they are both speaking Japanese right now. Winona corrects him, saying that they have been speaking in Alton this whole time. Since he is a genius at reading people, he can tell from their expression that they are not lying and wonders what's going on. He realizes something, so he tells them to please take him to the crash site, where they found him and his companions. As they take him to the crash site, Lyrule reveals that 4 days ago, some sort of large object flew straight across the sky, and there was a loud sound after that. So everyone in the village ran there, and they saw that big thing that looks like a bird's skeleton up in flames, and the 7 of them were lying nearby. Mikagami recognizes it as his plane and wonders how they managed to survive this crash. Just then, a dragon flies by on top of him. He gets really surprised, and now he has no choice but to accept that he is in a different world. After a month, the 7 visitors are fully accustomed to life in the village, and at night, the village hosts a feast for them, toasting to their full recovery. The village chief tells them he still can't believe that they are humans from another world, but they tell him that they are more surprised than he is, while the children tease one of them by scaring him since he is still having some trouble accepting reality. Lyrule tells the children to stop teasing the guest and asks the 7 visitors, did they all really come from a world with no bioma? They get confused about that word. Lyrule explains that bioma are people like those in the village, who have animal-like features with great strength. And people like the 7 of them are known as Huma, though it's very rare. Some Huma have the ability to use a power called magic. Winona brings steamed potatoes to enjoy on the feast, but the children are sick of it since they have been having the same thing for a while now. Winona tells them not to worry since it will be different today thanks to Mikagami. He puts his own thick cream that he made on the potato and tells the children to eat it. As the children eat the cream-filled potato, they really like it and start smiling while wagging their ears, saying that his cream is much tastier than salt. Lyrule enjoys it as well, and Mikagami reveals what he made was called mayonnaise in their world, and the whole village truly enjoyed eating his mayonnaise. As they sat down for a drink, Winona tells them that hearing about their situation reminded her of something similar. There is a story about the 7 heroes who came from another world. Hearing this, they are really eager to know this story. Winona doesn't know the whole story, but she reveals that a long time ago, 7 heroes appeared from another world and saved the land that had been under the control of an evil dragon. Her son calls her stupid since she believes all that crap, saying that they cannot be those 7 heroes. He stands up, saying that as the treasurer of the village, this feast was all useless, and they can't afford to keep 7 useless mouths fed. His mother gets mad at him. He gets scared and runs off while telling the 7 that if their wounds are healed, they should get out of this village. Winona apologizes for her son, but Mikagami tells her that they are really grateful for everything that the village has done for them. Later, the 7 holds a meeting to deal with the bizarre situation they are in. Mikagami tells them that there are 3 things they need to address. First, they need to gather information about this world, including the country they are in, the laws they have, and the magic as well. Second, they need to look for a way back to their own world. Their only clue is the story about the 7 heroes. The third and possibly the most pressing issue right now is rebuilding this village's finances. After all, they have to pay their debt that they owe to them for saving their lives. The next day, one of the 7, a girl with intelligence several centuries ahead of the modern world. Her name is Ohoshi Ringo. Despite being in high school, she is the world's top inventor. She tells Mikagami that she has modified all of their cell phones to work in this world. She blushes as Mikagami thanks her, and she informs him that she went to check out the crash site. The miniature nuclear reactor she made was unharmed, meaning they will have all the power they need for a while. Her assistant, an AI in the form of a cute creature, further informs them that the plane crashed right beside a very large deposit of bauxite ore, and Ringo will be using it to produce aluminum. But they will be needing more materials to refine it. So Mikagami tells her he will ask their merchant Sanada for help. Just then, soldiers on patrol approaches the village, demanding meat, drinks, and hospitality from them. Winona tells them that they already have sent taxes to the Lord, so why are they demanding more? The captain of the soldiers tells them that as the Imperial Knight, he is here to offer them protection when their men are away, and in return, they only want their hospitality while trying to grab her melons. Mikagami stops him, saying the melons are only his, prompting the soldier to leave the village. The captain gets furious at his insults to a great Imperial Knight like him. He takes out his sword and tells his men to show this fool what happens to morons who mess with them. But it turns out he is the moron, as his soldier immediately gets knocked out by 2 girls. He tries to strike Mikagami but immediately gets pinned down. Mikagami takes his sword, pointing at him, saying if he values his life, he needs to get out of here. Without a second thought, they skedaddle while stating that they will pay for this. Winona is really impressed by their strength, but Sanada tells him that they may be thugs, but they are still soldiers, so it's not wise to let them go, because if the feudal lords hear about this, there'll be trouble. But Mikagami tells them to not worry, as he has taken care of it. The captain and the soldiers are fleeing as fast as possible to report to their lord. The scaredy cat boy named Prince Akatsuki intercepts them, back in their own world. He was known as the world's top magician despite being in high school. His greatest magic was that he made the Statue of Liberty disappear right in front of everyone. Now in this world, he is floating in the air, and the soldiers are shocked because that kind of magic is known only to the imperial mages of their kingdom. They wonder why is such a mage is doing in a worthless village. The prince tells the soldiers that he owes a debt to the villagers, and to repay them, he will start taking their lives by cutting off his own head as an example. The captain starts begging, stating that he won't say anything to the lords if they spare their lives. The prince decides to agree but warns them that in case he breaks his promise, the consequence won't be good for him. Later, the 7 have a meeting again, and Mikagami tells them that from now onwards, each of them should do work that suits their individual talents. And he motivates all of them that he knows the situation is very bizarre and to find their way back home it might be impossible. But they need to remember that the impossible, the unthinkable, and the unimaginable, these were all the things they have overcome countless times to reach where they are. That's why they were called the 7 high school prodigies around the world. That means that nothing should be impossible for them. So they will just take it nice and slow, because if they were to give it their all, they could end up ruling this world. The next day, Sanada Masato, a boy once called as the demonlord in business, because despite still being in high school, he was the richest man and the world's top entrepreneur. Sanada, along with Elch, Winona's son, meets with the CEO and owner of Nuchelin Trading Company, trying to sell their village products. But the fat prick offers to pay a very low price for their products. Sanada argues with the price, but the prick tells them that they can go elsewhere. Annoyed, Sanada agrees, calling Elch to follow him. But Elch gets worried since there is nowhere else to sell their goods. The prick tells Elch that if he happens to find another buyer in Dortmund, please inform him as well so that he can report anyone doing business without one of these permits, as he flexes his own permit. Outside, Elch informs Sonata that Neuchaland is the only trading company in this town. Sonata is surprised to know this. He tells Elch that he knows what he did back there because a deal is a means of achieving their objective. At the same time, a fox girl is spying on them while Sonata explains that any deal that doesn't help them reach their goal is not worth it. Elch agrees because even if they made the deal, with that price their village will still not make it through the winter. He understands that, but he can't do anything about it. Sonata tells him that a life spent going along with the flow and letting yourself be used is worthless. The prick was so condescending to him. He shouldn't have taken that lying down. It's not right. His words surprise both Elch and the girl. Elch asks why he is angry on their behalf. He tells him, of course he is angry. After all, they owe their lives to the village. He tells Elch to let him take charge of this business. If he does, he will earn him a fortune while teaching the prick a lesson and destroying his shitty company in just a week. Elsewhere in the village, Prince entertains the village kids with his magic, while the others help with other work to improve the life and the living conditions of the villagers. Mikagami helps Lyrule to make mayonnaise again, while she thanks him for bringing lots of new recipes to their village because now she is really enjoying cooking food unlike before. But she is really worried since soon they will be running out of salt and wheat flour. Mikagami tells her not to worry since Sonata and Shinobu went with Elch. He is sure that the trade will be a success and they will receive all the necessary goods. Lyrule just hopes that Elch will get along with them since he was pretty rude to them earlier. Winona joins the conversation, saying that her son may be stubborn, but he is kind. He was behaving like that because of his position as their treasurer. He is trying really hard to ensure that everyone in the village is well fed. But right now things aren't looking good thanks to the fat prick named Jakoi. He has been monopolizing the right to trade in Dortmund. She tells Mikagami that he is an awful fellow, taking advantage of their small business by paying a very low price. Mikagami tells her not to worry, and it will be perfectly okay. All they need to do is let Sonata handle it, and he is sure that right now Sonata is probably in the process of establishing his own trading company. And he is right because Sonata has finally managed to get a business permit for his company from the mayor of Dortmund. His company name is Elm Trading Company, and Elch is really surprised that he managed to get this permit because he knows it is impossible unless they have a bucket load of money. He wonders how he managed to do it, and Sonata reveals that it was thanks to Shinobu's talent in gathering information. After all, back in their own world, Shinobu was known as the world's top journalist, despite being in high school, because her talent in gathering information and espionage was impossible to match with. Sonata explains to Elch that if Neuchaland was the only trading company in a town as big as Dortmund, then there has to be something going on behind the scenes. Thanks to Shinobu, he was able to gather intel about the mayor's account book. He was receiving a vast amount of money from Neuchaland. So using that info, he blackmailed him to get this permit. With that, Sonata tells Elch that they need to stock up on supplies, and he will teach him how to do business, and soon he will feast his eyes on a truckload of coins. The fox girl approaches them, asking Sonata if it's true. She tells him she wants to make her own living as well since she is tired of depending on others. She begs him to teach her how to make money. Sonata gladly agrees. This confuses Elch by letting some kid join their group. But Sonata tells him that he can see there is greed in her eyes, and adding people like her to their ranks can't hurt. They introduce themselves to the girl, and she excitedly reveals her name as Ruko, thanking him for accepting her and calling him sensei. Later, the girl jumps happily as she gets new clothes and is all cleaned up now. At the same time, Sonata is talking about a consignment sale to the suppliers, telling them that the Elm Trading Company will be setting up a store in the Central Plaza tomorrow, and they will let their village sell their products alongside theirs. After all, they have a permit now. He shows them the permit, saying that it cost them a lot to get this, so they will be taking 20% of their sales as a hosting fee. They were confused, but Sonata tells them that since they are both victims of Neuchaland, he is willing to lower it by 10%. They are really happy to hear this and ask if it's okay if they mention it to the other villages as well. Sonata gladly agrees, saying the more the better. Elch gets really worried, wondering if it will really work since they were able to stock up without paying a single dime. Sonata just tells him to wait and see, and the next morning, Elch was really surprised because they really got all the stocks from the villagers without spending a single luke. Sonata explains to the both of them that when you are stocking up for a business, you'll naturally need money. However, the one thing you need more than money is trust. In business, trust breaks down to how much profit they can make. In other words, nothing holds more trust in this town than a business permit. That's why he puts so much effort into getting this permit to gain the trust of the people. But what makes this business module of him more nasty is that they can stock up all they want without paying anything, and keep generating profits without any loss. Not only that, the condition of reducing 20% to 10% was that the suppliers needed to help the man with the shop. Therefore, doing that allows their small 3-person trading company to expand their shop as much as they want. With that, they start selling, but Elch gets worried since no customers are coming. But then as people start noticing their shop, Sonata welcomes them, saying they are the Elm Trading Company, the cheapest option here in Dortmund. Their goods may be less expensive, but no one can match their quality. Hearing this, people start swarming the place, and they sold out very quickly. And this was all according to Sonata's plans, since he deliberately set up their shop closer to their daily sphere and cheaper than their usual shops. Later, Shinobu informs him about all the info she got about the fat prick. Sonata thanks her and informs her that they made a lot today, so he will be acquiring a cart full of supplies for the village, and they also need to fulfill Ringo's request for materials sooner than later. She tells him to give her a call once he gets everything, and she will deliver it to the village. After a few days, the supplies reached the village, including Ringo's material, and all the villagers were really happy. Mikagami thanks Shinobu for her service, and he asks her about Sonata. She tells him that everything is going well, and in a week, Sonata will be crushing Nuchilin Trading Company. At the same time, the prick is informed about the Elm Trading Company, but he simply ignores it, saying that a small company like that has no chance of fighting against them. He gets really mad at the mayor for giving them the permit since he is paying a lot of money to him to prevent that. But anyways, he thinks that those stupid farmers will go bankrupt eventually, so he should just leave them be. Their company works like magic, as everyone starts buying from them only, and now since they launched their new product, the mayonnaise people have been going crazy, and they can't keep up with the demand. Ruko, however, became really fat as she kept on eating the mayonnaise as a form of advertisement to the people, but she really enjoys it. Just then, a blonde-haired man asks them if they would sell him the mayonnaise as well. He introduces himself as the captain of the merchant fleet, Sea Serpent, named Klaus. Sonata smiles at him, saying he has been waiting for him. In the evening, the trio meets up with Klaus in his office, and Sonata tells him that he has heard a lot about him. Klaus also tells him that he has heard about this new trending company as well. And with that, they end up striking a deal, and the prick gets shocked when he hears the news about the Sea Serpent switching sides. Because of this, the prick decides that starting tomorrow they will open a market in the Central Plaza as well, stating that this is war and he will make them regret making an enemy out of him. Shinobu informs Sonata about the situation. Elch gets confused about the war, but Sonata explains to him that they are going to start buying up goods and selling them in the market with no profit in mind to compete with them. But this was all according to his plan, saying that it's not a bad idea, but only if they had gone with it on their first day. He opens the window and sees that the suppliers are there, telling the confused Elch that they are the blades that will kill Nuchilin for him. At the same time, Mikagami is really impressed with Ringo's work as she manages to make shovels made with aluminum alloys. She tells him it's all thanks to Sonata because he got her a lot of resources that she requested, and she made these because she thought it would help everyone in the village as it would make farm work much easier than before. She starts yawning. Mikagami tells her to take some rest, but she asks him, didn't he need something from her? Mikagami tells her that he just wanted to check up on her because he was worried she might be pushing too hard. She starts blushing, thinking that Mikagami cares about her, and agrees that she will take some rest. As he heads back, he knows that it's not only Ringo but everyone is growing fatigued from this lifestyle since they are not used to it. It starts snowing, and the villagers tells him that working with water is rough this time of the year. This gives him an idea. Meanwhile, the fat prick tells his workers that they won't let them mess with him anymore. He tells them to gather all supplies and sell them without thinking about the profit margin, saying they will crush that puny company with all their capital. But sadly, he gets informed that their company isn't getting any products. This surprises him, and as he goes to check his stores, there is not even a single product, while Elm Trading Company has everything. He sees his suppliers and wonders what's going on. Sonata makes his appearance saying that's right, they are the merchants that he laid off. After he monopolized trade at the port, he fired the merchants working the land route in order to cut labor costs. This forced the villagers to bring the goods to him and sell them at a very cheap price. He even made them bear the cost of the tariffs. But since Sonata took over the trade at the port now, The prick tried to get these merchants back. But now it's too late since Sanada has organized all of them under their own company, and he has signed a 3-year exclusive contract with all these merchants, meaning all of their wares were purchased by the Elm Trading Company before they even set foot in town. Sanada smirks at him, saying that he may wait here with his stupid look on his face, but he will never be getting any merchants. This prick starts lying, saying that Sanada is tricking them all. He tells the merchants that his company will buy the wares at a higher price compared to this trashy company. But they simply tell him that Sanada has already told them that he would do this, and they sold to Sanada knowing that already. This is because they know that once his war with Sanada is over, he will go back to buying their wares for cheap, and he will fire them again over some crappy excuse to make himself rich. The pricks start begging them to forgive him, and he promises he won't lower the price anymore, but they simply don't trust him anymore. As he lay there defeated, Sanada starts lecturing him that the most important thing in business is trust, but he went too far with his stupidity. However, he tells him that it would also be going too far to crush him and his company right now, because be it Elm or Newcheland, it's not healthy for any one business to monopolize the entire market. That's why he plans to make a partnership with him. However, with a menacing face, he tells him that he plans on taking advantage of him, so he better be prepared. In the evening, as he plays with Ruko, Elch asks him why he didn't crush the prick like he said. He tells him it's because there are more drawbacks in crushing them than not. He knows that he cannot keep so many traveling merchants employed under their company. He always intended to throw them back at Newcheland once he broke the prick's spirit. And he reveals to him that the contracts with the merchants were just a lie. Elch tells him that he is really a bad person after spouting all the nonsense about trust, but now he easily just breaks all the trust of the merchants. He smirks at him, saying he is a bad person. After all, he was known as the demon lord in business in his own world. Hearing this, Ruko's eyes sparkle, thinking how cool he is, while wagging her tail like you wagged your stick. Just then, the owners of Ruko show up, demanding that they return her. It turns out she is a slave that belongs to them. As they grab Ruko, Sanada asks her if he should save him. Her past life flashes before her eyes, and she bites the man, telling Sanada that one day, she is going to become a good merchant. Then she will earn lots of money and use it to buy her mother and father back. But all the money she has left over afterward, she will give it to him. She promises him that she won't let him take a loss on this. That's why she begs him to please buy her right here and now. Sanada obviously agrees, throwing the money right on the man's face, telling him he is buying her 100 times the market value, and they gladly accept this deal, calling him an idiot. He tells her that the courage and willpower she just displays is 1,000 times more valuable than the money he just spends. Ruko is very grateful as she cries and hugs him while saying thank you from the bottom of her heart. Sanada apologizes to Elch for spending all the money they earn, but he tells him it's okay since he never knew that it could feel this good to spend money on something. He smiles at him, saying that's why he never stops earning money. Elsewhere, Shinobu informs Mikagami that it was a huge victory for Sanada, and he tells her that it's expected, and he is glad that she is enjoying herself as well. She smiles at him, saying a city full of precisely where a journalist belongs. She tells him about the info he requested. First, the magic. In this world, there are 4 different types of spirits: fire, water, wind, and earth. Communication with them allows miracles to occur, and their powers are about what they imagine them to be. But people who can actually use magic are scarce in the territory of Findolf. The only one who can is the mage officer living in the Lord's castle. Mikagami asks her, what about magic capable of crossing worlds? She tells him she doesn't know yet. She reveals to him one more piece of info, that they are out of luck on the information regarding the 7 heroes, since there is a religion known as the 7 Light of Faith that might be related to the heroes. But it was destroyed several centuries ago by the Frejigard Empire. It wasn't just the 7 Lights of Faith, either. All of the religions that used to exist on this continent were destroyed from the roots up. Frejigard's policy of survival of the fittest didn't allow any gods to be placed above the empire. However, that's still their only clue as to how to return to their world, and they will have to search for that religion on every continent. But there is a problem. People need travel permits from Marquis Findolf in order to leave the territory. And this person is one hell of a shitty bastard. Just then, Aoi calls him, informing him that it's ready, and he hangs up the phone, telling Shinobu that he finally did something befitting a politician because he had some public facilities created. As he enjoys the hot water spring that he and the others created, Lyrule joins them as well, bringing an ointment since Mikagami injured his hand. She rubs it on him while he thanks her, saying that he did some work that he normally wouldn't. Suddenly, Prince informs them of some bad news. Some of the villagers that went hunting ran into a monster called the Chief of the Forest. They immediately heads to the location and were easily able to find them thanks to Ringo's heat signature goggles. At the same time, Sanada also makes his way back to the village, but knowing the situation, he simply tells them not to worry since Aoi and Kane are with them. As they reach there, the fight immediately ensues as Aoi kicks the monster down the cliff. Mikagami tells the villagers not to worry about Aoi since despite being in high school, she is the world's top swordsman who can even cut bullets. As they stood there, they saw the corpse of Winona's father, and the villager informed them that he had stopped breathing moments ago. Mikagami tells him not to worry as he looks at Kane, since despite being in high school, she is the world's top doctor because she was known to be so talented that she could even revive the dead. As Aoi fights the bear, Kane performs surgery on the man, and in just a few minutes, she manages to perform resuscitation and finish her surgery and tells them that he should wake in 2 or 3 days. Aoi also managed to defeat the monster by cutting off its head. But back at the village, soldiers approaches the village, demanding that they should bow down since the captain of the Marquis's Guardian Knights, the Silver Knight Inzaghi, is there. The captain orders his men to capture them, and as they tie everyone up, he informs them that the village is suspected of treason, stating that they have used illegal means to gather coins within these lands. Sanada tries to argue that they have a permit, but the captain simply rejects it, saying that it's a sin for vulgar peasants like themselves to even touch gold, because these gold coins are engraved with the dragon crest of the Frejigard Empire, and only nobles are permitted to touch them. As Mikagami and the others reach the village, they wonder what is going on since everything has been burned down. The villagers try to rescue their friends, but Mikagami stops them since it will be suicide. Besides, they don't need to worry since Prince was with them, and right on cue, Prince makes his appearance along with all the others. Sanada informs Mikagami that the ones who attacked the village called themselves the Guardian Knights, and they had direct orders from the Lord. Mikagami knows that it must be Marquis the Bastard, but soon realizes that Lyrule is missing, angry for suggesting something so messed up. But Akagami gets more angry, saying he is not joking because this is the only way they can handle things smoothly. Winona agrees, saying that Lyrule would have wanted that. However, if her sacrifice brings peace to the village, they will no longer be themselves, and they will be similar to animals who will do whatever it takes just to survive. That's why they will be fighting back in order to retain their humanity. She takes his hand, exposing the wounds because she knows he was really mad deep inside. She begs him to help them because she knows they can rescue Lyrule if they are all with them. He tells her that if they fight, there will be a mountain of corpses from both the sides. If they are really prepared for the consequences, then they will help. They all obviously agree, so Akagami tells them in order to win this war, they will be advancing this world's civilization by roughly 500 years. Their politics, their economics, their values, everything will change. Elsewhere, Lyrule is dressed up in very sexy attire. The gold-toothed, obese lord, named Findolf, who is thicker than your girl, is very happy and horny to see her. The captain tells him that she was in the village he ordered to torch, and he brought her back as a tribute to him. Findolf is grateful, telling him he will reward him handsomely in the future. He immediately tries to milk her. But Lyrule remembers the deal she made with the captain that if she becomes the Lord's plaything, then he won't touch the village again. In order to save the village, she willingly tries to kiss his thick, juicy mouth. But as he closes in, the both of them get electrocuted. The Lord is thrown off by the shock while Lyrule gets knocked out. The captain is surprised that she can use magic while the Lord tells him to tie up the sow, and he will teach her a lesson for injuring him. At the same time, the villagers have reached the castle, and they are preparing to attack with everyone taking their own positions as planned. Ringo finishes setting up her rail cannon, and she fires, launching a powerful projectile immediately destroying the walls of the castle. The Lord and the captains hear the commotion, wondering what's going on. The captain rushes to the site, and the soldiers inform him that the villagers of Elm are attacking them. He gets shocked, wondering how did they survive and realizes that they are probably trying to rescue the girl. He orders the crossbow squad to intercept them, but it's no use since they easily blocked it with their shields. He gets confused, stating that a shield big enough to protect the whole body would be too heavy for anyone to use. Sanada laughs at him, saying this is the power of science. Their genius inventor combined several metals to make a super alloy called Duralumin, that is stronger but lighter than steel. Just then, the soldier gets killed by an arrow, And somehow the captain manages to catch the arrow that was shot at him by Elch. He realizes that the arrow is iron and was shot from a very far distance, wondering how is this possible. He gets really angry and orders his soldiers to overwhelm them with their numbers, but Aoi and Winona easily overpower them, cutting the soldiers left and right. Meanwhile, Shinobu and Akagami enter inside the castle through a secret passage, and he praises her for her information-gathering skills. As they are about to reach Findolf's room, Shinobu immediately stops him from getting hit with a magical attack. The Imperial Mage makes his appearance, calling the captain a fool for letting them progress this far. He tells them that this is it for them because he will be taking their heads and present it to the Lord. On the battlefield, the number of soldiers starts overwhelming them, but right on time, Prince makes his appearance. The soldiers get surprised seeing a mage, and Prince gets terrified seeing all the bloodshed. But he mans up and starts throwing rainbow smoke bombs at them, claiming that these are poison smoke bombs. Knowing this, the soldiers immediately retreat while the captain asks why the Imperial Mage officer is not coming out of the castle to deal with this. He realizes that something is off, so he calls some of his men to follow him. At the same time, Shinobu easily dodges all the attacks of the mage by predicting his hand movements. She gets behind him, confusing the mage, and easily knocks him out using a taser. The captain makes it on time, so Shinobu tells Akagami to go on ahead while she deals with these punks. As he gets inside Findolf's room, he sees Lyrule all tied up. He gets worried for her, but sadly, he gets shot right in the man-jugs and falls on his feet. Findolf comes out of hiding, dancing like he saw Diddy. He realizes that the commotion outside has gone quiet, and he is glad, thinking that all those damn commoners are probably dead. So, he takes out his knife and starts punishing the So for causing all this commotion. But when Akagami tells him to stop, he gets shocked, wondering how he is still standing. He simply tells him that he is wearing protective armor and takes out his gun as he shoots at his knife. Findolf gets more shocked, stating how a commoner like him can have a miniaturized flintlock. Akagami simply ignores him, warning him that this gun can shoot 6 more times, meaning he can kill him 6 times over. Findolf starts begging for his life, saying that he will give the woman back. He will even give him money with a personal Slurpee if he wants. But Akagami tells him he takes Slurpee only from girls and tells him, sorry, that's not an option. Besides, after causing so much violence, the Frejigard Empire won't let them off, even if he does. That's why he will create a new nation where all men are equal and anyone can become the leader. Findolf starts laughing at his nonsense, saying that the Emperor will never allow that and they will all die. Akagami tells him that in that case they will simply claim the Emperor's head before he can kill them, and he shoots right on his head, which knocks him out, but he tells him not to worry, it's just a rubber bullet. He unties Lyrule, but suddenly she gets possessed by something, saying, thank goodness I made it on time. She informs him that there's not much of me left. The world is being consumed by a giant evil dragon. She begs him, saying to please save this world, my 7 heroes. As he tries to ask her if she is the one who summoned them here, the voice disappears and Lyrule regains her consciousness. She gets shocked, asking him what he is doing there. He tells her that they have come there to rescue her and all the villagers are outside. She starts crying, saying she is the worst because they all have done something terrible, but yet she is happy that they came to save her. Akagami tells her that it's normal to feel like that as he hugs her, saying he is glad that she is safe. The battle is finally over, and there are very few casualties thanks to the genius doctor, and they cheer in victory as Akagami and Lyrule comes out of Findolf's room. The next day, a truck steps into the market, surprising the people as they think it's a metal beast. As it opens up, the girls are dressed in a sexy bunny girl outfit, and using speakers, they announce to the public the appearance of a god, where Prince pretends to be a god. He uses his illusions, saying it's magic, and everyone starts believing that he is really a god. Furthermore, Prince presents them with a gift by giving them free mayonnaise, and people start going crazy over it. Prince tells everyone that they should worship him, and obviously everyone starts agreeing while cheering that they will follow and worship him forever. Akagami explains to Sanada that this is all his plan. They couldn't just declare themselves as a new nation because it wouldn't be enough to win over people. That's why he decides to create a religion because it will be easy for them to understand, and they can unite all the regions under one religion. Also, portraying themselves as gods and his messenger will enable a smooth transfer of power to the people of this world when they return back to their own world. They are also calling themselves the 7 Lights of Faith because, by doing so, they might eventually be contacted by the real religion. Elsewhere, Elch and Shinobu are traveling to a different region to gather information on Butchwold, and Elch gets really happy seeing how Shinobu is getting so close to him like this. At the same time, the mayor of the city is really worried, deciding that he needs to escape the town with his family as soon as possible. As his maid enters inside, he tells her to prepare his things because he will be leaving tomorrow morning. But he gets surprised because the maid turns out to be Akagami in a maid uniform. He starts undressing and proclaims that he is one of the angels serving God Akatsuki or Prince. He tells him that he has got the wrong idea about them because they haven't come here to persecute nobles or throw this city into chaos. In fact, they would like to cooperate with them. The mayor has no choice but to accept, asking him, "What do you want?" He tells him that he would like him to continue serving as the mayor of Dormont, but they need to show allegiance to him and the Seven Lights of Faith. The next day, as expected, the mayor announces to the public that they are joining forces with the Seven Lights of Faith, proclaiming that from today onwards, this city shall be governed by the Seven Lights of Faith. Later, as the seven gather together, Akagami informs them that he will be focusing on domestic affairs here in Dormont for a while and shore up their foundation, so they can all return to Elm Village and get some rest. They were very happy to hear this, as they need rest from all the work they have been doing. Kane, however, tells him that she has a small request, saying they are running low on medical supplies, so she'd like a facility to produce antibiotics, asking if he could spare some labor and capital. He agrees, saying to get him a list of what she needs and he will arrange for it. Aoi, however, requests to stay with Akatsuki while he takes a break so that she can always protect him. After all, he is pretending to be their god. Akagami tells Ringo that they are starting to run low on electricity, so he requests her to make a new source. She agrees and decides to make a mini thermal power plant. Akagami also tells them that with the few remaining soldiers from the fight, he is thinking of combining them into a Seven Light of Faith Knight Order, and he already has his eyes set on someone to be the captain of the Knight Order. At the same time, the captain of the Guardian Imperial Knight, named Zest, decides to quit, and as he is hanging out in a bar, Mikagami approaches him. As he sits with him, Mikagami starts praising him, saying he did some research about him, stating that he has great courage, his fellow soldiers have great trust in him, and he is a reliable man capable of making calm judgments at all times. Knowing all of this, Mikagami asked him to join his Knight Order as their captain. He refuses, saying that they all look calm after taking over Feindolf, but the Empire will soon attack them, and this place will become a battlefield. There is something that he has to do. If he can't do that, then there is no point in him being a knight. That's why he quit, and he leaves the tavern. However, Mikagami wasn't going to give up that easily, and the next day, he came to his home, telling him that he still haven't had the chance yet to discuss the key issue. Just then, his daughter calls for him, and she immediately hugs him, telling him that she really loves him with a cute smile. The captain tells him that she is the precious treasure left to him by his late wife, who passed away in the epidemic. He tells his child to go play somewhere else as he needs to have a discussion with Mikagami. He tells Mikagami that he had served as a knight so that he could live with his daughter, named Eri. She is the most precious treasure to him. That's why he can't join his Knight Order, because he can't make any choices that would sacrifice his family. He knows that if he joins the Knight Order, he will be sent off to fight when this town becomes a battlefield. And if he dies, Eri will be left all alone. He joined the knight to be with her in the first place, so that's why he tells him that there are plenty of other knights with great loyalty, and he doesn't think a pathetic and selfish man like him would be a good fit for the leader of a nation's order. Mikagami tells him that it's not pathetic to want to cherish his own family above everything else. He tells him that he is perfectly welcome to continue putting his daughter first and foremost. What they are seeking isn't loyalty, but its companions who will fight alongside with them. After all, they are not like the rulers he has known before. Their goal is to create a democratic nation where everyone can live freely. He further tells him that he knows he has had these thoughts before. It's not right for heritage and other unreasonable factors to determine whose life has value when they are all the same. That's why they aim to destroy that world, and in order to do that, they need people like him who will take part in this revolution. Zest asks him if he can really make that world come true. Mikagami says yes if he has the help of someone like him. He looks at his daughter as she waves at him with her cute smile, and tells him that it might be better to fight to seize their own future when the Empire attacks them anyways, so he bows down to him, agreeing to be his knight. At the same time, Shinobu is gathering info from the Butchwold soldiers, learning that a large army is gathering from Butchwold, Arclide, and the main knight unit as well to deal with the Seven Lights of Faith. And besides all these, they have Lord Gustav, a powerful mage, who, for the first time in history, is a knight who was granted the title of Duke and the authority to govern the northern lands because during the battle with the Yamato Empire, he stood on the front line and annihilated all the army on his own. Later, as Shinobu meets up with Elch, she asks him if he has any information. He tells her no, so she reveals to him that she has learned about Lord Gustav, but has very little information on him. That's why they will be going to meet the Duke himself, which really surprises Elch. At the same time, Gustav kills the captain of Feindolf for being incompetent and swears that he will be burning all the rebel army to the ground.